Hi everyone, Deb here. I got in the mood to make some cards, but honestly, I've been in a creative funk as far as card making. Anyway, I was going to go a different direction entirely, and then I was looking through my papers and I found this pack from Stampin' Up. It had been an online exclusive in March 2023. Now, I think I bought it either in Last Chance or Closeout, or they used to have a bargain shop, and I'm pretty sure I got it after this, but like 2024. Never used it. It had a coordinating stamp and dies called Irresistible Blooms. I don't have that. I have something that looks pretty similar, except that some of this paper had shapes like this that the dies cut out. That, and this. But guess what? I fussy cut one sheet of these and one sheet of these. Not these little things, but I'll show you what I did with them, and I didn't use them yet. And probably about 3/4 of a sheet of this, because I cut the rest of it to use some of the back. But this paper is gorgeous. I don't know why I was hesitant to use it. This one, and here's the back. That's that one. No, it's similar to the one I showed you. This one. The colors in here, I'll read you at the end. Let me put this back here. So there's, this was one of the ones I fussy cut. And I also used one sheet of this, maybe 2 sheets of that. I don't know. I don't think I used any of that. I might have used 1 sheet of that. I'm not sure that I did though. Did not use any of this leaves sheet. Here's this. I did use 1 sheet of this. I did not use any of these leaves. I should have, because they have a little more yellowy color to them. There's 4 of each of these, and I'll show you the backs in a minute. And this is that one I was thinking of using and ended up not, I think, or maybe I might have used one of them. I'm not sure now. Can't remember. Pretty sure I used one of these. I know I did. This is one I showed you earlier. I didn't use that. And I know I used one of these. Didn't use this one. And I did use one of those. So on the backs, we have that, that, that. So basically, it's good for, you can use this paper in multiple ways, either with the flowers and the leaves, or just the backgrounds, as I usually always say. But it was sitting on my shelf, unopened in the outer wrapping, which I threw out already, but that was part of it. And I put my 6x6 in quart size bags, because I can label them and my scraps can go in them that way, and then they can fit in a bin or on a shelf or whatever, however you do. I think this one, yeah, this one goes here, so I didn't use that. And this one, I did use one of these. So anyway, you get to see all these beautiful patterns, and I will show you what else I used here in a moment. And I have not assembled the cards, I prepared them. But when I was I went on YouTube and typed in Stampin' Up! Irresistible Blooms, because I couldn't remember if it had stamps and dies. So actually I typed in hello irresistible, because I had the paper only. And it said it was, a couple videos said it was part of an Irresistible Bloom suite available online starting March 1st, 2023. So as a result of that, I found this demonstrator. Her name is Terry Gaines. of Create with Terry Gaines, and she had a free downloadable PDF if you clicked underneath her video. So I didn't do any of the front ones. We're going to do this one first. Oops, you can't see, sorry. This one first, then this one. Pretty much the same, except I did this one a little bit different. And I didn't have the same sentiments, so changed them up. And then also this one, and then I made a couple just on my own. Figured out the design. And from scraps mostly, and I still have those scraps, which if I had had more time, I probably would have tried to use them up in a card or two. So I also used, I think I used this embossing folder. I don't think any of these are current anymore. Well, I lie. I think this one is, but it's either maybe going away, might be last chance now. I don't remember. Cute Crochet. And this is Fun Patterns, and I didn't use the daisy one. I used this. I think I used that. I did. I know where I used it. This is the stamp set I thought was pretty close. And you know what? I had used these before, and I might have used one or two of these because they were kind of loose. But the stamps, yeah, I think I used, well, that's stained yellow because I just used it. I am not sure I used these before because I don't remember using the scripty sentiments, and they were stuck on the plastic pretty good, as was the flower. So I'm not sure. I might have just used them with the dies with cardstock, but I also used this time, and this large flower and a couple of the sentiments, and I thought that went well with it. I also used this hello. Pretty sure that's retired. Yeah, it was 2021 to 23. And I used Hope You Have the Best Birthday. I didn't use anything else from this. At first I thought these were a good match, but then I found this one I thought was a better match. I brought this out because it was in my bin next to my desk from Simon Says Stamp. One of the cards I don't have a sentiment on yet, so I'm going to let, well, I can't let you help me pick it, but I'm going to figure that out when we get that far. Let me put them aside. So here's all the bits I have left. I cut the edge pieces too, because on the flowers only, because you'll see in the last card how I think it's the last one, how I'm using them. This is an extra postage stamp punch in Flirty Flamingo. And then on those sheets, I couldn't get all of them, but I got some of them, either the front or the back, where it wouldn't fit over the leaves good. And I had an idea for those too, and that's from two different sheets of paper. So I'm going to save them, and two leaves, only these two tiny little leaves. So I have an idea for them, but I didn't get to that either, so I'll save them. Okay, so let's start our first card. I have all the bits. I already did the stamping too. Let's go ahead and, well, no, we'll set that aside. That's going to be the inside. Happy birthday. Oh, I used also this, Oval Occasions, because the card I'm casing, copy and selectively editing, this one looked like it used the double oval punch, and I have that. So I use that, but I don't have, you know, the sentiment. So this one, it's pretty much the same, except that I think I had to slightly change the layer and designer paper because her thing said 8 by 5.5 and then scored at 3 3/4, but I did the standard A2, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So my panel is in a little further from the edges than hers. So it's a little bit different. So let me put this over here too. Okay, let's do the front first. Let me get my glue. So I was going to do this as a live stream. However, I had so much trouble with that the last two times I've tried it that I decided I'll just do this as a video and do it as a premiere. And that way, if you are available to chat with me and have any questions, see there's that paper. And I think these dimensions are the same as what she had because I didn't realize her card was smaller till later. And I'll give you those in a minute, but just know I'm using a regular A2 size card base where she made her smaller. So let me show you that again. This is Terry Gaines again. Hers, she cut the card base shorter, thinner, so that the panel would fit in better, but I'm going to just move the panel over to the left a little bit. Now you could also emboss just the front, or you could stamp some images down, but I'm not going to. I kept this one pretty simple because, yeah, Deb likes simple sometimes, especially when I'm just getting back into card making again. I kind of have a mental block against the card making here all of a sudden. And I think it's kind of like, well, since people can buy cards at a dollar store, $1.25 or whatever, why bother? And yet I have all this stuff and I need to use it or get rid of it. And I am not making very good progress getting rid of it. So that's going to be the card. Now, let's see. I don't think she had any embellishments on hers. I'm I might, but we'll come back and embellish all the cards at the end because I have a stack of embellishments I pulled out and I don't want to have to keep getting them out, in and out, in and out. So this is a strip of the leftover paper just cut down a little more to I think about 1 inch actually. And I stamped, the color here is Flirty Flamingo. I forgot to read you the colors. Let me do that after I glue this in. And Flirty Flamingo marker just rolled over. Let me move them. I used them on the last card. There we go. So there is card number 1. Very easy to do. And this part dimensions is 3 1/8 by 5 inch. And no, I'm sorry, that's the white piece under, and the designer paper is 3 inch by 4 7/8. And then this is a standard A2 size card, which if you have a piece of cardstock is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Scored at 4 1/4. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And this was a double oval punch. If you don't have that, you can use any kind of shape or just cut it out. I don't know why that looks like it didn't cut right or something. Anyway, that's card number 1, and we'll come back to it to embellish. The next one is similar, but not quite exact to this one. It is a standard A2 size, but the layer, I changed it to be 2 1/8 by 5 inch for the bottom, like the Flirty Flamingo under the paper, and just designer paper 2 inch by 5 inch. So let me show you what I did because I did something else a little different. It looks on hers like this is embossed, and also this tag or label or whatever is embossed, but she stamped right on it. So it looks like she only embossed down to here and this part is not. Well, I missed that when I did this, so you'll see what I did. But this, I kind of messed up the blending, but it's okay. It's going to be covered. This is the cute crochet embossing folder, and I took a blending brush, which clearly didn't work right at first, in Flirty Flamingo, and just went over it so you can, let me turn this down a little bit. I think you can see it better maybe. You can, yeah, so that's kind of messed up, but we are going to cover that part with this, which I gave you the measurements for, and this is just not even an eighth of an inch. I might have cut the top and bottom off a little much, but that's going to cover most of that mess of a blob up. So this is a 5¼ by 4 panel, which I'm going to put onto the card front. It's a little uneven, that's why I switched sides. Which I don't think she did. I think she had embossed the whole card front and just left it white. So I didn't do that. So let me put this down. I also have, in addition to some embellishments, I also have some ribbons pulled out. And we might just attach those at the end too. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to move this because I keep coming down too far. And you can't see what I'm doing. I think that'll be better because it's a little closer to me now. Make sure that didn't move. Felt like it wiggled a little bit, and there we go. Alrighty, so the back's so pretty on this too, like a sunset or sunrise. So the colors are Flirty Flamingo, Daffodil Delight, Petal Pink, Lost Lagoon, which is a green, which I don't have much cardstock. I have one sheet of cardstock left in that. That is in the subtle color family by Stampin' Up. Soft Sea Foam, which I for some reason have a ton of cardstock left, probably because I don't use it very often, but I did today later, I think. Yeah, on one card. One card. It's a very pale, pale green. So Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock is another color. Not bumping any of this up because I am probably going to bump some other stuff up, like flowers. All right, so then I didn't do a tag, but I did use the deckled rectangles, which I think just retired. That's going to go down here on an angle, and I'm not going to color that with the pink. And then I have some of the die-cut flowers. I have a petal pink and a yellow. And how she did it is sort of like this. Now she also had some yellow leaves and stuff, but I'm not going to die cut any more leaves. So I'm going to put a little glue here just to hold these together temporarily. I think, how do I want this? This way. This sort of has Petal Pink and Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to get my glue dots out. Hopefully I won't bump the computer. Okay, there we go. We're going to hook the leaves right on to the back. I think I want one of these like up here somewhere, because they're going to sit on here, and then I have a sentiment somewhere. Where did it go? I don't know where my sentiment went. Oops. And it's not in there anymore. Well, that's weird. I'm pretty sure it was a hello. Anyway, let's put these on and we'll probably have to stamp a sentiment. Because I don't see it. Maybe I put it inside the wrong card. Okay, where'd it go? It took part of my flower and didn't come off the roll. That's really weird. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put dimensionals on this, so I just want to hook them onto the back of the flower. I'm getting a message. And I guess I'll put this one over here. They must be old dimensionals. Some of them have 2 leaves, some have 3, and we'll put another one a little bit further down on the left. Oops, did I do that right? No. Have to put it on the front because it's attaching to the back. Okay. I think I'll just do it here. Another one like that. So this is going to go here, and these will go on top, and then she had a little hello here, and I really thought I had that ready, but I guess not. So we need to figure out a sentiment here. And I think I'm going to glue these onto this and bump this whole thing up. That's what I think I'll do. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think it was done like this, sort of at an angle too, maybe up a little bit. And I may tie a bow up at the top. I'm not sure yet. So let me put this up on dimensionals, and then we'll probably do some kind of a strip sentiment. Why does that seem so glary? I only have the light on low. There. Hopefully that's better. I'm going to make this pretty firm, and I know I probably should have been aware of what I have under here because it may be uneven now. I really thought I stamped a sentiment for this. I might have stuck it in the wrong card, but we're going to just go ahead and do something else. Maybe I'll use that Simon Says stamp one. Okay, we're going to put this at an angle. Yeah, I think right about there. And I do think I'll probably put a little bow up here. We'll come back to that. I don't know what color yet I want to use. And let's go ahead though and stamp something. See, she had it across here. Where did I put that stamp set? That hello's too big. I could do Time to Celebrate. Let's do that because it's small. Nah, I don't know. Hang on. Maybe we'll do a strip across here and it'll be Happy Birthday. I think Happy Birthday would be good. So I hope you're all doing well. I know this is going to be a bit of a long video, but oh well. I don't do them this long usually, although I am having a couple here lately. I need a different block. Here it is. The only thing with these greetings, they're kind of long and thin, and you need a long and thin block for them. Now I need a strip of paper, and it seems to me I used this for a different card and I needed something wider than these 1/2-inch strips. Let me check. If I'm really careful, I think I can do it. And then I just happen to have some, this is probably the same size. I might have to cut another piece of Flirty Flamingo to go under it. All right, let me get Flirty Flamingo and we will stamp. Thought I had all the stamping ready, but apparently I didn't. I just really got that all over. I might have blurred that. No, it's pretty good. All right, I have to clean that up. Obviously, I will cut this. Let me just see something. If I put that, I'll cut it off and cut it off, and then I think I will back it on. Let me just see something. If I cut it off, this, I can cut this down and it'll work. Okay. Oops. Ay, 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 ay. All right, let me cut it. I think I used to do this quite often. I know I'm off screen. Let me put it up here. Just trying to cut it down. And I might even cut it a little more than that. Let me see. Maybe not. So that is a little over 3 1/4. That's all right. So I'm going to make this just like 3 1/2. Maybe 3 5/8. But that's 1/2 inch, so I'm going to make this be 3/4 inch wide. And hopefully that'll work. Let's see. It's a little fatter than I needed, but let's try it on the card before I glue. I may have to put it straight. I think that'll work, right? Maybe down a little bit to cover that up. Just the corner. So I think I'll do that. So let me glue that together and then have to figure out the dimensionals on it. And then we just have to do something on the inside. And that'll be it. Struggling with getting it on straight. And I still don't think I did. Oops. Okay. All right, so now if we're doing this, I think I want it straight. I think right about there with this edge matching that edge up. And so I need a dimensional here and I guess one in this bottom corner and then a little bit of glue or something in the middle. Because this is, remember, this is already bumped up. And because that's bumped up, you can't put a dimensional in the middle there. So we're going to put this over to the edge, straight across, bottom corner. There we go. And we will put jemmies on in a minute. I think I'm also going to use the wishing you all the happiness you can imagine right on the inside of the card. So wish me luck with that. I'll be right back. Let me get set up. Okay, here's the card on the front. And I did stamp wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. Let me clean my stamp and we'll be on to the next one. Okay, the next one is keeping with that same paper. This time we're going to use an A2 card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, but we're going to turn it horizontal. Okay, I'm going to turn this light here. I feel like I'm getting there. That might be better. It's a little glary up there, but there, we'll cover that up. So on this one, it's a 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 and a 4 by 4 mat. And we're going to glue that together. This is a very easy card. Very easy card. And you can texture this if you want, but not much of it is going to show. So I am not going to do this. And this was also inspired by Terry Gaines. So, and she was, I think, the second person whose video I watched. The first one was a little too fancy and only one card. And when I saw she had a PDF, I'm like, yes, please. That was very nice of her. She's not my demonstrator. I don't think she's even in the upline, but I don't know for sure. So then this is just going to go here. But before we do that, this is the postage stamp punch in Flirty Flamingo. And this is the postage stamp punch. And what I did is I stamped hello. That was out of the Biggest Wishes. Oops. Sorry. Biggest Wishes stamp set here. Dropping things here. But I didn't want to have to, originally I was thinking, well, I'll just cut sides and it would be the same height. So I took some of this Post-it note tape. You can use scrapbook.com's mint tape. Actually, I just ordered some of that because it was half off today plus an extra 10% off, roughly half off. So I don't know if I hit place order, but I'm going to, because this is getting low and I don't have any more. And the purple painter's tape I had tried using before and it tears the paper. This, if you run it through the machine 4 or 5 times, and like reuse it like I do, could also tear your paper. So be careful. But the first time or 3 or 4, um, usually does not. I have no issues with that post-it note tape. The difference is scrapbook.com's is a pretty mint, and I hear there's a pretty pink one. I don't know where that's from. So anyway, I put that on a white piece like this, and I stuck it in, holding it, and well, I don't want to punch it, but I'll show you what I did, because trying to describe it is not going to happen. So I made sure what I stamped on there, was good. And then I put it in like this and cut one side off. And then I put the tape back on, went in the other way, the other direction, and cut the side off. But I had the hello already on there, so I knew how far I could go in. And that's what I did. Now, if you have dies, you can use them too, but I wanted this on here. And this is just going to get glued down. I might have to put a little dimensional on the side over here. And this is just the back of that paper. It's going to go down here and over. And then we'll glue these two together and bump it up. Now, if you have dies, I never can find in my rectangle dies, like I have the postage stamp dies, and I have these, what are these called? The deckled edge rectangles. They never have one nice and short like this though. And then this is going to go here. Okay, very simple. And I'm going to leave the inside blank because it's a hello card. You can write whatever you want to whoever you're sending it to. And one in the middle. Too many, I know. Most people use probably 2 or 3. Some demonstrators cut their dimensionals in half. To me, if you're going to do that, just buy the minis and use the same amount, but I don't like doing that unless it's for a skinny area on whatever. Let's go down a little bit so more of that flower shows. All right, straight enough. And that's that. And we'll probably put a few jemmies on around too. Okay? Next up, similar, but different colorway and with flowers on. So this is same kind of card base, A2, but turned horizontally. This time we're using the soft seafoam pattern and soft seafoam cardstock. Same cut, 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 on a 4 by 4 cardstock. And we're doing exactly the same thing. This, I believe, I pulled for the inside of the card, but we had to trim it down. And you can pick whatever papers you want, but I tend to want to do something fancier, and then it takes me too long. These did take me a little while to cut and, fussy cut and stuff, all that. And this just gets glued down. And did she put it on the same side? I think so. Hang on. Yeah. Oops. But let's get our leaves going the right way. Which way? This way, I think, right? I don't know. Does it matter? Not really. You just want to make sure you center it sort of top to bottom and leave a little margin over here so the white shows a little. Now, she used a piece of designer paper, but oh no, she did use a strip of soft seafoam. And I used it too, but she had a punch that sort of looked like ticket on the edge. I don't know if I have that anymore, but I couldn't find it if I do. And that is going to go across here just like we did the other one. We'll glue it part way, but now we're going to bring in some flowers. And she just used a little hello strip, but I'm going to put it over a little further and bump it up. And then the flowers are yellow, and we're going to put jemmies in the middle probably. And they're going to go over here. Now, she also used a punch called per her video, it doesn't say it on the write-up, called the bow punch. I don't have that, but I have this little leaf punch, so I'm just going to use that. And I did them in scraps of soft sea foam. So first let me get this strip down. I need one dimensional. And these are from the sheet that had pink and yellow flowers. Petal pink and yellow mostly. And then the other sheet had mostly flirty flamingo flowers. Got a little much on there. I have to wipe my fingers off now because they'll be sticking to everything. And I want to put it down sort of towards the bottom because with the flowers and stuff are going to take up room. Maybe could have had that strip a little longer. Oh, so I used the retired, everything's retired, triple banner punch, I think this is called, and double banner punch. It looks like that. And I love it because I use it quite a bit for 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch strips of paper. Now this we're actually going to bump up right about here, I guess. Yep. So these are pretty simple, but beautiful still, I think. Maybe not to you, but this is a nice soft color. You could use it also even just for like a birthday or a baby shower, but I'm just using a hello card. She used hello too, but a little bit smaller one. You could also take a marker and go around the edges and make it pop a little more, but I'm going to keep it soft and put it there. Now the flowers, yikes, where'd they go? Oh, here they are. One sec. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. I had some messages coming in. Anywho, I am going to figure out where this starts here. We're going to do the same way. I'm going to put a glue dot on the front and hook it onto this one. And we're going to put it right about here. And now we have to do the leaves. And I was sitting here before we left putting little indent marks in them just so they look a little more realistic. You could also ink around the edges with these, but I'm not going to. Like I said, I'm keeping the pastel look to the card. Even the yellow, it's Daffodil Delight, but it doesn't look that bright to me. So let's see, if we're going to put that there, we need some leaves coming out here, right about there. So I'm going to put the dot right up near the top up there, but not quite. Put it like that. Maybe, I don't want it to cover the hello. Oops. Let's go up just a little bit more. Put one there. And this is the part I have trouble with, figuring out placement. Sometimes I do. And another one right there too. I don't like that. This one's not showing enough there. Let's put this one in front of that one maybe. I don't know. Kind of looks a little wonky, huh? And one sticking out the bottom. That's what we'll do. Maybe right here. Now we have to glue this part, but we need a dimensional or two over on this side, which will help hold those leaves on too. Because sometimes glue dots don't always see how that one's coming up a little bit. We're going to put them like that. She had a lot more leaves and it does look better in my opinion. But that's okay. I didn't feel like cutting out any more flowers. And this one I can maybe turn upward a little bit too. I need another dimensional snuck under here. And the leaves are hanging off the card, which I didn't plan on. I might have to wiggle that one down a little bit too. Well, we'll figure it out. This one just needs one right there. Okay. Because this is up on dimensionals. There we go. All right. Good enough. And we'll put some jemmies on there. And I'm going to, like I said, just leave the inside blank. However, I think I'll cut this down to about 1 inch. And then just put it in on the side. Should I put it on that side or that side? I always put it on the left because I'm right-handed. But my mother was left-handed, so she might have preferred it on the right. I don't know, like writing more on the left, but it's going over here. Let's see. Let's see. I think like that. Just go ahead and glue it in. You can put it on another mat if you want, but I don't like to do that on the inside usually, unless I have the whole piece matted, you know, the whole, like if it's a dark cardstock, another whole piece matted in there. So that's the next one. Okay, moving on. This one. Now this was my own. Those were the 4 I did looking at Terry Gaines, and the next 3 are my own. So this was one of the dies from the Happiness Abounds bundle. This is Pretty Peacock cardstock, and I already stamped the inside and glued a strip down, and I used that same wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. And I thought I had, yeah, I have friend though instead of happy birthday. So this is going to go on the front. I need a bone folder to crease that a little better. There we go. Okay, so this is one of the papers. It has that on one side and this on the other. And I just thought it kind of looked like a trellis, so I'm going to use that like a trellis. I actually have a die that does sort of a trellis on half the card on a diagonal. And I did pull that out to use, but I never got to it. This is soft seafoam. And I'm putting it on a piece of Pretty Peacock so that the design shows through. Now all these little bits, I don't know if you can see them, they're shaped like hearts. These other little pet leaves don't come through, but you can take a pokey tool or something and push them forward and make it dimensional. I'm just not going to. So we're just gonna glue this down carefully. I don't want to get too much because I don't want it popping through the little holes, but you need some on those spots. Okay. And just put that on here. I don't remember the dimensions of this, and I just remember that I cut the cardstock. This was a scrap, and I just cut around the design. I'll tell you approximately. Hang on. And I put this bare spot at the bottom because I thought I would stamp a sentiment right on there, but I didn't. So this is upside down, about 4.5 inches, so about 4 3/4 long, and then wide is 2.5 and about 2 and not quite 2 3/4. It's a little off. And I'm just going to glue that down here as well. I love using designer paper because, and I also like making my own backgrounds from time to time. Push that up just a little bit. Now, the difference is we are going to, I have this stamped. Let's glue that together first. And I don't know, this is about 1 inch, and this is probably about 1.25 inches wide, about 1.125 inches maybe. And I don't remember how wide. However long that sentiment is with a little bit extra. And you can see I use scraps for when I do something wrong, I turn it over. Use it again. Nobody's going to see it once it's glued onto paper, as long as the ink didn't go through. Clearly, if the ink went through, but this is really heavy cardstock. I actually am not sure. I don't think it is Stampin' Up's. Now, before we do that, we have flowers again. I think I got that on crooked. It's on there for good now. Oh well. We're going to do the same. We only have a few leaves left though. And this time, maybe, I guess it looks better. But I think I'll put that one on top. And yeah. All right. Let's just do that. Let me hook it on with a glue dot. That one on top. So if we're going to put that like there and there. Now we just have a couple leaves, and I'll put this one facing this way. And the other one I don't know yet. I think I had them both going that way when I planned it. Do you guys ever take pictures of, like, do you lay them out, take a picture so you remember how you did it? I do that sometimes. I'm going to put this one down here. I don't want it hanging over the edge over here. And it won't show up as good against the dark anyway, because these are Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock, I think, right here. Okay, and then we're going to glue there and put dimensionals on these two edges. Let me get the dimensionals on there first. Try it again. It's where that bump is. And right about where that bump is. And the rest will be glue. We have 2 more cards to go, guys. And I'll put chapters in, so if you, well, you probably will know this by now, but if you want to, you know, once you see the card, you can, oops, you can kind of skip ahead. I'm going to put that up a little bit because then this is going to go down here like that. So again, glue and 1-dimensional. And that's going to bump up a little bit from the flowers because it has that backing on it, but it's okay. And if I had a small enough stamp at the time, I could have, This was too long. I could have stamped just right in there. And we'll go right about there. If you aren't sure of placement or whatever, you can put a little dab of glue on your dot after you take the backing off. And yeah, and that's it, other than I need a little bit of glue right under here. Oops, a little too much glue. Sorry. There we go. And I'll put gems in the center there and maybe some on here and around. So there's that next card, except we need to do the inside. Sorry, I'm getting messages again, but you'll just have to wait a moment. And we're just gonna glue that. It's a 1/2 inch strip by 5 1/4 inch, which is going right along the edge here. Oh, no, wait. Yes, this one's right side up. Phew! I was so used to doing the lateral ones that I almost thought I put this in the wrong way. I have done that before. Anybody ever done backwards cards too? Like the opening is on the wrong side? Yeah, been there, done that. And you know what I did to fix that? I cut the panel off the front and just glued it onto another card base. Yeah, so it was a little thicker, but it all was good. So there's my idea of a card. I like it. Let me know what you think. And we'll put jemmies on too. All right, next is also Pretty Peacock. Okay, I did this one a little different. Hang on, I have to. So this one, we're going to, this white is for the center. We're going to use 2 scraps. This piece is left over from that last project. And then this piece had the leaves on, so that's part of the sheet I didn't get any leaves cut out of. And that's going to go here, no backing. And then I stamped this from the Happiness Abounds. Let me show you which flower. This flower, and I stamped it in Daffodil Delight, and then I used the alcohol markers, light and dark, to color it in, and the stamping actually comes out darker than the light alcohol marker. So, and we're going to put this together. Let me glue these down first, and then before I glue the white circle on, we're going to put the leaves under that circle on top of the Pretty Peacock. Over a little bit. And let me just make sure that looks pretty straight. And then this will go down. I think that is hanging over the edge just a little bit. Hang on, let me get scissors. And it's just off by not even 1/8 of an inch. There. There it is. Not even. Okay. While I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to glue this in because nothing's going to be put on it this time. Because it's a dark cardstock in here, you need something to be able to write on. And I always put a piece of white in if it's a dark colored cardstock especially. Now we're going to put this on. You could use this side too with the leaves, but I'm doing non-floral except for the flower centerpiece. All right, and that's going to go up here. You know, with postage rising all the time. Okay, now we can go ahead and put that down if we want to, but I'm not going to yet because I need to figure out placement of the leaves. And I have these 3 leaves left. I think they might be the last ones. I'm not, 4. I have 4. So this is going to go on like this in the middle of the square. And this is probably, I don't know, let me measure it for you. This is 5 1/2 by I'm not good at giving you measure. 1.5, and this is about 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 inch. And it was a scrap, so it's just approximately that. It's actually about 3 1/16 or something. Okay, so this is going to go in the middle of there. This was one of the deckled circles, and this was also, and then I stamped on it and colored. And we're just going to tuck these leaves under the white. You could cut slits in the flower if you wanted to, but yeah, no. No, no, no. So, oh, I did it wrong again. Oops. I keep wanting to put them on the back of the leaf instead of the front. Well, actually, we could do that this time because it's going to go on this other paper. So I think we'll put one here and another 3-leaf down over here. And the other ones are 2-leafers. 2-leafers. Do I want them down or I guess down? Sorry. Out of practice. I think I'm just going to keep them in those positions, but add some to it. Maybe, yeah, just make it a little bulkier here. And same on the other side. And then we'll glue this down and put this up on dimensionals. That's what we'll do. Okay, let's do that. And then I already have the sentiment stamped for this one. Oops. Everything's sticking. Alrighty. Some people use their pokey tool to get this. I guess that's a good idea, but I never had luck doing that. And I still end up having them all over the house. I kind of want this to face like that. But I don't want that leaf to hang off the edge. I'll turn it a little bit. There we go. Pretty close, not exact. And then we have sending many thanks for all you do for the outside. And I did go around the edge of this with the Daffodil Delight. Actually, that was the alcohol marker, one of the alcohol markers. Stampin' Blends is what they're called. The Stampin' Write markers are water-based markers, and they changed the tips on them. Not so much the brush tip, but the nib, and I do like it better for my purposes, but if you like them to write, I don't find it is as clear as the other one, but the other ones were very fine tipped on the one end, and I hardly ever used that end before. Okay, now this, I think I want to line up just down here, about with the edge of that. So, dimensionals again. You still with me? You can't answer, right? Except in the Premiere. I'm going to put that in the middle. That's the one the paper came off already. And I use probably too many. But I don't like soggy cards. You know, droopy stuff. They're probably going to go in somebody's trash bin anyway, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. Okay. I'm going to put that up a little bit. Let me get this straight. And over a little bit, over a little bit, over a little bit more. Because I don't want it too close to this edge over here. So it's a little longer than the sorry. There. And then we'll do some kind of gems on that too. All right, one more, guys and gals and guys. All right, this was back to Fleur de Flamingo. This is my own design as well. We'll go ahead and put this in. This is this paper, but I'm just using the back because I'm going to use it on a piece of, this is 5 1/4 by 4. This is 5 by 3 3/4. I have gone around the edges with the Stampin' Right Fleur de Flamingo marker, the old version. I have also splatted it with Fleur de Flamingo marker, and you cannot see it, but with Daffodil Delight as well. So we're going to glue that together too in just a minute. Let's do the inside first. The dies that came with the Irresistible Blooms or whatever had this piece that made cutouts that looked like that. And that was pretty cool, but I did not buy that. You know, limited budget kind of thing. Oops. And I have so many florals and things, I just can't do it all. So there's the inside. Now on the outside, we're going to glue this down first. Okay. I'm going to have the pink up in the upper left corner, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and put this down. You see I messed up. Flipped it over. I had already splattered it too. I was a little annoyed. I was going around the edges and had to resplat it, but it's okay. It doesn't take that long. Now if you mess up both sides, I guess you could cover it with something. 1 second, everyone. Okay, this one, I needed my phone camera because I laid out the pieces and we are going to bump them up on dimensionals on top of the card to make it sort of look like they're floating. I'm just trying to make sure this is down good because it needs to be. So I had them laid out like that and that, and then a light color half one over here, and a large yellow down here, and a little bit darker half one over here. I think I had a palish one in the middle because that one's a little darker there. And then this one, this has to go up a little bit. I do end up with 2 yellows there. I wonder, I thought I had a not yellow, maybe, but that's the same. Nah, let me see. Maybe this one. Is that the same as that? No. Because I don't want yellow since I have yellow right here. This is more this color. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bump these up on dimensionals. And then I don't think I figured out a sentiment for this yet. You know what? I'm going to do that instead of holding you up, and I'll come back and show it to you when I'm done. Here's what I came up with so far for the sentiment. I used the oval occasions. Now the thing is, I had to use the larger double oval because the sentiment is large and wouldn't stamp on this little piece. So to back it, I cut out two in Flirty Flamingo and then just offset them on either side to make it pop off the flowers in the white a little more. And I colored in these little flowers with the I actually used the water-based marker for the yellow, but I used just a touch of, I think it's Retired Color Just Jade in the leaves on there. And I do think I'm going to put some ribbon. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you again for a few minutes. I'm going to put embellishments on all of these. I'm not going to bore you with that, but I will come back and just show you the final cards when I'm done. So I hope to see you soon. Okay everyone, I have finished them. This is the first one we did. I just added some white seam binding as a bow and three little iridescent sequins I found. And that's it on that one. On this one, I put some gems I've had and hardly ever use. I don't know what I do with them. Here they are. They were the adhesive backed hexagons. They're actually in a color called Blushing Bride. Oh, it has something under it. Two sizes, but I think it goes okay with it. This one, I thought about putting ribbon on, but I just couldn't figure out the placement I wanted for it, so I used those same hexagons, and that's it on that one. This one, I used Daffodil Delight Glossy Dots assortment. I had two, they were out of the open pack, a large, a medium, and a small, to bring out the yellow and also the seam binding, just to help, I don't know, I think it makes it prettier. And then this one, I used flat adhesive backed pearls in two sizes, a smaller size in the centers and a large one over here. And I just felt like it was missing something. And I thought about using white, but I have this petal pink, which is not that color. That's supposed to be Flirty Flamingo, but you know what? There is petal pink in the paper. I thought it went okay, and I love this ribbon. It lays nice and flat. So just a little bow down there to add a little something something. This one, back to those Daffodil Delight adhesive back glossy dots assortment. One in the center and two down here. And on this one, I found these dots, which actually are, this says there's oh, this is supposed to be Flirty Flamingo. Oops. Well, anyway, I used the Bubble Bath and the Lemon Lolly. And I put them in the gaps on the card. And that's all I did on that. I think that adds something to it, and it doesn't elevate it any more than it already is, because remember, these are bumped up, and we already had two layers. So yeah, that's all 7 of my cards. I hope you like them, and let me know if you have a favorite. Let me move these out of the way. And I used dimensionals. I was cutting along the edges for some of them. So let's see, we have this one, this one, this one, and this one in the same direction. And this one was the last one. Let's see how I can do this. I'll put this over here, and then these two down here. Maybe I can go like this. There we go. Oops. Move that one down a little bit. Anyway, those are my 7 cards. I hope you enjoyed. I should have done this for a Crack the Vault because I used a lot of stuff I hadn't used in 6 months or more or never used. So, like the paper and the stamp set. One of the stamp sets. So, anyway, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing these. I could probably go on and on. You know, you can make a lot of cards out of a 48 sheet pack of cardstock, right? So yeah, the problem is I have lots of those 6x6s and lots of the 12x12s, and I don't scrapbook. So I'm gonna have to be doing D-stashes. I just don't know when. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day and weekend or week whenever I'm not sure when this is going up. So, and I will talk to you again soon. Hugs, love, and peace.